Well, I love my basement office and it keeps me warm, but I might just be poisoning myself just for the sake of staying warm. Now that we've got our basement finished and waterproofed and everything has been done, we've managed to get all the walls sealed and everything taken care of. However, there's been a gas in our basement we didn't know was there, and once we got it finished and all the lights in, we got this AirThings sensor installed and found out the radon's been a problem. I'm Chris with Gadgets and Gravel. I was sent this by AirThings for review and testing purposes, but however, neither AirThings or any PR agencies or anybody else get any input on this video before you, and won't get to see it either. So that's it, all brand new. With that out of the way, when we moved in this farmhouse about a year and a half ago, we had an unfinished basement. It needed waterproofed. It was leaking. It had some problems. So we had it all waterproof, sealed up, had that taken care of. And then we ended up putting the sheetrock up and studs and putting in all the walls and getting it finished up. Unfortunately, during that process, we were having high radon reads. If you're unfamiliar with radon, it's a scentless, colorless gas that you don't know is there, but causes some serious health issues if you don't get rid of it. It's a naturally occurring thing. It's in the ground and it seeps up through the cracks in your basement, and that's typically how it makes it into your home. However, there are ways to get rid of it and ways to mitigate it. So we did have to pay for radon mitigation. The readings on our AirThings radon meter was really high for a long time, and after we got the basement fixed, we figured we'd solve the problem, and it didn't. They stayed high, so we had to get mitigation. It's not a cheap process, but it is a good and it is quick. We found a local company that did a great job. They drilled into the foundation and into the floors to find some spots where the air was coming through. Thankfully, we do have drain tile as part of our waterproofing process. We have drain tiles running through our floor to help get water to our sump pump. So they're able to utilize that. But they drilled in, put a new pipe, put in a fan on the outside, and have a gauge, which all helps it to suck all that gas out of the floor and the surrounding area of our basement before it makes it in, and we have to start breathing it and living with it. It's been fantastic, and it's really helped out a ton. That's what's so great about this air quality monitor is that it doesn't just monitor air quality like particulates in the air, which is a big concern and a big issue with the wood stove. It's constantly putting out, ash and little particulate into the air. There's also volatile organic compounds, VOCs, plenty of things in our air that can cause headaches, allergies, and other serious issues. This actually monitors all of that and does a great job of keeping track of it and giving you actionable data on it. It's really, really nice. And I'll show you some screenshots of the app up here so you can kind of check that out. But it's really helpful in keeping track of that stuff. And you can see in the screenshot where we got the air quality or the radon mitigation installed. There's a sharp drop and it's stayed low since then. So that's been great. But on top of that, the helpful thing about this air quality monitor from AirThings and using the AirThings Renew Air Purifier is they kind of work together. Let me show you this thing. So right here, this is the AirThings Renew Air Purifier. And here's the AirThings View Plus. So you can see here on the screen, it's got an e-ink display, and you can set up and customize what information you have on the front of this. So what's really nice is, once the air quality, this sensor or this sensor within the Air Renew, oops, hit the wrong button there, turned it off, inside the Renew, detects that there's particulates or things in the air that are higher than a healthy level. I can set this by the stove, or I can set it in another location and put this in a separate location, and they'll work together. So whenever either one of these detects volatile or bad stuff in the air, it'll signal the air purifier to kick on and speed up the fan and start pulling that out and cleaning air quickly. So it's really, really nice how that works. And they work together so they can cover the air in different parts of the room without having to move stuff around a whole bunch. So I can cover it from different sides. It's really nice. The air purifier here, you can see, it's really nice. I like that it doesn't look like your typical air purifier. It's not just white or black plastic or whatever. It's a really nice looking air purifier. You can see on the front of this fabric, it needs to be washed. This is the initial filter. To catch some of the larger pieces, you can see it's already kind of dusty. And inside of here, we've got our next layer of the filter and then another filter there. It does keep track of all this for you in your app, so you know when it needs to be cleaned and switched out. So all that's monitored for you in there. You got buttons on top of it to monitor it and keep track of it all, but you can also control it all from the app. So you get really easy controls over this, and it's been great. Ever since I've had these going in the basement and paired these two up, aside from being able to keep track of the radon, which is the super serious thing, it also does a great job of monitoring stuff in the air. Because of that wood stove, like I said, we get lots of dust and ash and things like that living in the country, and running that stove kicks a lot of stuff out. While it keeps me warm, it's not great for breathing. And so being down in the basement in an enclosed area, it's really nice to have an air purifier down here to keep the air clean and make sure that I'm not getting headaches or causing additional issues because of the air. Part of what makes the AirThings View Plus stand out for me is the range of things that it can monitor. There's a lot of stuff, like I said, that can monitor air particulates, VOC, humidity, pressure, temperature, things like that. And then there are plenty of radon monitors, but it's not very often you find those all in one unit that is as intuitive, easy to use, and has a good app for monitoring it in. So you can see in the screenshot here, we get 8 different things to monitor. You can see the air quality here is not super great, and that's because we just got to open up that stove and let us some smoke out when we were putting the piece of wood. So it's really quick. It registers that. But then also you can see on here with the radon across the last year, radon's been high. It's been 5.1, but that average is dropping. And you can see here in the screenshot right here where it's marked at, that is when we got our radon mitigation system put in. And so you see the instant drop and where it's maintained since then. Oh, we do have a few peaks here and there. It's maintained low and it's still stays in the safe level. So it's been really nice having this around and making sure we keep the air clean. Now, in terms of upstairs, so I do have another air purifier upstairs, and I featured that in my smart home roundup. But it's the Dreame air purifier. It is an incredible air purifier. It handles a large space and it's directional, moves the air around. So it's a really cool unit there. But if you're looking for anything like that to keep your house monitored for air quality and also help keep it clean, definitely check out, AirThings, Dreame. There's plenty of other great air purifier and different brands like that out there. But in the wintertime, the one thing I do have to worry about down here, especially when it comes to keeping warm with the wood stove and the sump pump and the air radon mitigation, is power. So if winter storm hits or just storm during the summer hits and comes in, the good thing is I've got the EcoFlow Smart Panel 2 paired up with the Delta Pro 3 batteries for a battery backup system. So it's monitoring and will keep all of my essential vital circuits in the home running, which includes the furnace, sump pump, radon mitigation, and a few other things. So if you have any questions on this stuff, drop it down in the comments. Be happy to help you out. I got lots more videos coming up, so make sure you like, subscribe. Super helps out the channel. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss when the videos hit, and be glad to see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around.